Coming to you live from $1 Million Studios, your boys Chris Speez and the weekend legend himself, Mr. Kyle King.
What up?
Speez and the Benchmark Show without the benchmark on a Wednesday night, September the 11th, 2019. We thank you so much for being with us here on Twitch. If it is your first time here, please make sure to give the channel a follow. Look at this.
Like, wow, just right away, free birds for life.
Subscribing again, 5 months.
Nice.
Mr. Brian, thank you, sir, for the subscription again. We appreciate that. If it's your first time here, do us a favor, make sure to follow the channel, and you can also become a subscriber to help us pay the bills around here, as little as $4.99 a month. We're always very appreciative of that. Or you could drop those bits or leave a tip at the tip jar, tinyurl.com/SB tip jar. And as always, we welcome your contributions to the conversation via the phone lines. 832-937-4559 is the number to get in.
Hi. I'm glad to be here, man. Like, I fucking love Wednesdays because I do my podcast, the Heel Turn podcast, which you can find on iTunes and sportsradio610.com and the radio.com app. And we do that on Wednesdays afternoons. So I get in the studio with BMAC. We do that. And then I kind of have this, rest period where I wait for Maurice, the limo driver, to come and bring me to $1 Million Studios. I get to talk wrestling all day long, and I absolutely love it. And I love hearing that Shane McMahon music.
Disappointed, no Silky, but I'll accept Kyle and the Speezinator.
Thank you. Thank you,
Mac Diesel, for the bits very much. That's 832-93-SILKY for the telephone. That's why I was trying to give you the cue to do the 832-93-SILKY.
But you know what? That's Silky's bit. Like, I'm not going to go, that would be like AJ Styles, mocking Stone Cold. Oh, wait, he did that yesterday.
Yes, he did.
Or I'm sorry, Monday, which was really awesome. And by the way, put some respect on my name. It's Kyle King.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, then.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We're going to get to what went down on Monday Night Raw with Stone Cold Steve Austin. We also got our finalists for the King of the Ring tournament and our preview of the upcoming Clash of Champions this Sunday. We'll be talking about that as well as whatever you guys want to talk about. And as always, it is Wednesday night. We are back, and therefore, it's time for another edition of the Benchmark Power Rankings. So Mr. King here will be offering up his Benchmark Power Rankings yet again.
The only power rankings you need to get you through the week. I mean, look, I put it out on Twitter earlier, all right? Ever since I took over the power rankings, they've never been more prestigious. They've never been better, and I look to continue that this week. I think you guys are going to love the power rankings this week and the reasonings behind all of the power rankings as well. This is the first time I sent a power ranking and I didn't get a message back from you going, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, sooner or later, every dog gets a bone.
Well, you know what? That's what I'm here. But really quick, I have to ask you something, okay? Because this is something I talked about earlier on my podcast, and I've been waiting to ask you this all day long. Did I not call it last night of who was going to take over Elias's spot in King of the Ring?
Well, of course.
Okay,
yeah.
But
that's like Silky taking credit for saying that Kevin Owens was going to leave the New Day and turn on the New Day. Like everybody and their mother didn't know that was coming.
So my question to you, though, is what did you think of that spot last night? Because Elias is legitimately hurt. Like it is not a matter of like, oh, this is kayfabe. This was literally, he got hurt. They had to do something. And this is what they came up with.
I mean, if you're going to pick anybody, Shane McMahon's always around. So you know that they're probably going to pick Shane McMahon. I mean, look, it serves its purpose. And thankfully he didn't win. Spoiler alert for any of you who were wanting to check that out.
Right.
Thank God he didn't win. So, listen, I'm never going to be excited to see Shane McMahon on television, and I'm going to be even less excited to see Shane McMahon in television in actual wrestling matches. I mean, the wife wandered through during that match yesterday and said, oh, my God, he looks terrible.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like he needs an oxygen tank big time. Of course he does.
The part where he attacked Kevin Owens at the very end, it was almost like he did need to get like an oxygen tank before he had to like mutter out, "You're fired." You know what I mean? Like he said it, and I don't think everybody heard it because he was gassed because he can't go more than 3 minutes or tying his shoes.
Exactly.
But like I said, I actually loved it. I love the fact that that's what they went with. And again, they didn't take a spot from Ali or another baby face on the up and coming. He took one from Elias, who was also his boy in the storyline. So I loved it. But I sat there and I watched it yesterday. And I was like, Speez is going to lose his fucking mind.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to come to expect it at this point. MJ says when it comes to Kyle, what the fuck is the matter with you is a redundant question.
That's very true. I had a very bad moment on the Heel Turn podcast today where I said that David Spade was more memorable on Saturday Night Live than Chris Farley, which I fully redact. I'm sorry, I retract that. Yeah, that was a fucking bad moment.
That's a very bad moment.
Yeah, that was bad on me. However, the rest of my list on that, you can find it at Kyle King on air, and you can go and vote for the person who is actually, winning this this tiebreaker that BMAC and I have going. And hello, Alice.
Hello to
How
you,
are
Alice. Good to see you, as always. Crowd slowly but surely coming in. It's a late arriving crowd here tonight, so do us a favor if you haven't done so already. Go ahead and retweet the program on social media. Send it out there to all your followers. Let them know that we're on live. It's been a little while.
It has, because we missed last week.
I missed Monday because my Texans were playing on Monday, giving away a game in New Orleans, as they're fond of doing. Shane looked like Joe Pesci when he was all coked out at the end of Casino.
I've never seen Casino.
Oh, that's
when Casino first came out, though, like I was still kind of young, and my parents were like, maybe not the best movie for you to watch.
Yeah.
And then it's just one of those to where, like, every time it's come on, it's like, fuck, this movie's so long.
It's so worth it, though.
No, trust me, I get it. I know the cast. I know what it's all about. I'm all for it. One of these days I will sit down and I will actually
Not
watch
an
it.
altogether popular opinion, but Casino, in my mind, holds up better than Goodfellas. I like Casino better than Goodfellas. I'm more likely to watch Casino than I am Goodfellas. That's how good it was.
See, Goodfellas is good. Goodfellas is one of those. This is my hot take on mob movies. I would actually rather watch Goodfellas than Godfather. And I love The Godfather. Don't get me wrong. It's a classic. It's everything you say it is. Just Goodfellas is just more kind of my style with everything. So
what's up, Jeffrey Cross? Good to see you.
Oh man, I like Jeffrey Cross. He follows me on Twitter. He's a big supporter. I like that guy.
Yeah, and he hates the revival. So Silky loves having him here as well because he's generally giving me shit about.
How have you not blocked him?
Jeffrey Cross is a good guy.
I know, but I mean,
he's calling us nuts right now for some reason. I don't know. Casino is way better than Goodfellas, says MJ.
All right, we're getting into mob movies. Shouldn't we be talking about wrestling?
We should probably be doing that. So let's get to the finals of the King of the Ring first. We had the triple threat match on Monday Night Raw between Baron Corbin, Ricochet, and Samoa Joe. And as soon as this was announced the previous week, the very first thing that I said was, shit, Corbin's going to go in there and steal that victory.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. Now, Silky, thank God, is not here because Silky actually called Baron Corbin winning the King of the Ring. So it would be completely unbearable to have to listen to his horse shit here tonight. I know, exactly. We'll play that for you, Silky, in case you catch this.
You're welcome, buddy.
Fact.
You're welcome.
But I had Ricochet. As soon as Baron Corbin was added to that match, I was thinking to myself, shit, it's just not going to be good.
So Freebird for Life says, this King of the Ring is a joke. It won't last 4 minutes, which I disagree. I think, look, I kind of said at the beginning of this that I think they need to put it on somebody like Ricochet or Joe or Kevin Owens. Obviously, none of them made it to the finals. But you know what? I actually like the two that they have in there. Baron Corbin just constantly gets heat.
Right.
And look, you can't sit there and say that he didn't have a great match last week. It almost stole the show.
WWE. We talk about this all the time. I'm so over.
I'm not even talking
about Baron Corbin. Just stop it.
I'm not even talking about his heel work. I'm just talking about the match itself was really good and really entertaining. Like you didn't know who was going to win, and that was the big knock on Corbin is he can't have a match,
which is
bullshit
ridiculous as well.
Yeah,
it's totally ridiculous.
Had a great match that week. The triple threat last night was actually very entertaining too, and I loved how he got that victory. That was awesome. That is, again, classic heel stuff. And then you have Chad Gable, who has done nothing but impress through this entire tournament. Dr. Huge, the doctor, was talking about it, and again, everybody wants to sit there and be like, oh, he's too short, blah, 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 blah. How can he beat these guys? He's a real wrestler. And Dr. Huge brought up the point where he goes, I will take an over-the-ear muff, I'll take an earmuff wrestler over these guys any day in an actual match. And look, Chad Gable is 5'8". You know how big Kurt Angle is? 5'10". And last thing I checked, nobody sat there and went, he's too short to do anything.
Yeah. Here's my thing with Chad Gable. The first time he came out in his first round match against Shelton Benjamin, you could hear a pin drop for both of those guys. Nobody gave a shit about that match. But again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We give WWE a lot of shit when they get things wrong. They booked Chad Gable perfectly into this final.
Yep.
And that crowd is going to be absolutely on fire for Chad Gable, and they are going to fucking loathe Baron Corbin. And that match is going to get an absolutely amazing reaction because
Yeah.
nobody wants to see Corbin win and everybody wants to see Gable win.
Yeah.
They booked it perfully.
Exactly.
They absolutely killed it.
You have the heel who everyone wants to see lose. That was Triple H's big thing. Like, he was such a shit sipper that everybody was like, "Oh my god, I
Did you
just
say
want him."
shit sipper?
I did.
I don't think I've ever heard shit sipper before.
Well, you have.
God, that's
now.
a disgusting term now that I think about it.
Exactly.
But
it
anyway,
is.
on we go.
But again, Triple H was vile. Nobody liked him for the longest time on his ascent to the card. Everybody wanted to see him lose, but he wouldn't. He was the guy you loved to hate. Baron Corbin is the guy you love to hate. Chad Gable is literally David standing in front of Goliath right now.
Yeah, somebody put a gif of that Chad Gable eating the end of days where he went for a Hurricane Rana and Corbin reversed it into an end of days. It was so fucking awesome. I mean, it was so cool. I'm excited for this match. I think it's going to be a really good match. And again, it's more fun when the crowd is into the match.
Yes.
To me, it doesn't affect the quality of the match, but it's more fun as a viewer. And we had this conversation before. It is more fun as a viewer when the crowd's into it. They're going to be crazy for Chad Gable, and they're going to absolutely shit all over Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin is going to eat it up, and he's going to make you hate him that much more because he gets it. He just gets it.
And look, and I'll extend an olive branch out to Freebirds. Like, the one part that I dislike about this King of the Ring is I'm kind of upset the finals is not going to happen on Clash of Champions.
Which is a huge letdown. Did they just change that recently? Did you get the tables?
It had to be. It really did have to be. It had to be
Subway
one of those.
100 Subway 1 Subway 1 Subway 1 Subway
It's
1
gonna read the
Subway 1
subways.
Subway 1 Subway
Okay.
1 Subway
Now I
1
want
Subway
Subway.
1 bonus 10. Have a great show, guys.
Thank you very much, Get the Tables. Appreciate you stopping by, sir. And again,
Wait, are we getting Subway?
we're not getting Subway.
Oh,
We're getting like bonus Subway because he used the Subway.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
Emoji,
I'm
but
hungry
okay,
now.
fine.
I'm hungry, but that's okay. But that had to have been something along the lines of changing that at the last minute. But I also kind of get it because you need eyes on Raw. Because if you look at what happened this past week, while I think we can all agree this past Raw wasn't terrible, it was actually pretty good.
No, it's pretty good.
Yeah, like it was
For a
good,
go-home Raw.
Right.
pretty
It was a good go home Raw, but it did lose out to Monday Night Football.
Subway 100 bonus 10 respects and great show.
Thank you very much, Alistair Fee. Good to have you with us as well, sir.
But yeah, like I said, it was one of those to where it lost to Monday Night Football, and the WWE is very upfront with the fact that they consider Monday Night Football their competition.
Yeah.
So I understand having to hold something over from Clash of Champions. Besides Fallout, you also need something fresh to kind of move the show along. So I get it in that aspect. However, I just feel crowning the king at a pay-per-view is a little bit more
Totally.
prestigious
absolutely.
than on the next night's Raw.
Absolutely right. And by the way, shout out to Peck and Rod and Brain Busted TV for giving us the shares there, guys. Appreciate that very much. So let's get into this Clash of Champions card and talk about the matches that we have coming up on the pay-per-view. Obviously, we will not have the King of the Ring final, which is somewhat disappointing, but plenty of good action coming up this Sunday. It is going to be, where is it going to be again? It's going to be, I forget
where is it? I don't know.
It's taking place September
Charlotte,
15th.
North Carolina?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, that's right, in Charlotte's hometown.
North Carolina's a great crowd.
Which means she's losing.
It's a great wrestling venue. I mean,
Is it?
Charlotte has been, it was in the territory days and back in the NWA days, Charlotte was absolutely huge. So I'm just going to go through these matches in the order as they appear on the Wikipedia page here, and we'll talk about them as we go. And you guys feel free to chime in with your picks as well. And remember, if you want to chat with us on the phone lines, 832-937-4559. The SmackDown Live Women's Championship up for grabs. Bayley versus Charlotte. Charlotte looking for her 10th. No, I didn't stutter. 10th.
Man.
Women's Championship already.
She's looking for her Ty Dillinger.
This would be 11 if you count the NXT Championship that she
Fair.
won. But 10 championships if she gets by Bayley this weekend. What do you think of the whole Bayley and Sasha thing?
I love it because
Absolutely love it.
it's reinvigorated Bayley. Okay,
Totally
now
agree.
look, I will say this. We're not obviously at the end of where Bayley needs to be. She's still kind of in that, like, turning towards the dark side, I guess, if you want to say. But I think she needs new music, and she's got to get a better finisher than the Bailey to belly.
Everybody keeps saying
Oh,
that.
it's so stupid.
Everybody hates that finisher.
You know what? I think it would be cool if she had a submission. Everybody else?
Absolutely.
Everyone else of the 4 horsewomen has a submission. Why not her? So I think it'll fit her heel persona. You know, Pac did that, or I'm sorry, Pac, if that's how you pronounce it. Pac went to a submission when he went to heel. Worked great for him. I think it would work great for her. And again, I want new music. But like I said, I like the Bailey and Sasha connection. Again, like they've done so much. Like, okay, these horsewomen are friends, but these aren't. And
I don't get too hung up on the horsewomen thing because, I mean, I get it. I get the connection. It's always going to be there between the 4 of them, and I totally understand that. At this point, again, if you bring up the 4 from
NXT, Baszler and all them.
From the UFC, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind here. Then, if you want to start talking about that, then that's great. But Alistair Fiend just coming with random emotes here.
That's fine.
Brian says, if WWE screws over Charlotte due to Daddy Flair's lawsuit over the man, I riot. So I guess you're pulling for Charlotte in this one. Listen, I'm never picking against Charlotte in a championship match on a pay-per-view. Damn. So I'm going with Charlotte Flair this one. It's in North Carolina. It's a chance to win her 10th title.
Here's where it gets weird. Okay, because yes, it is Charlotte Flair on a pay-per-view, and that's when she wins. However, the WWE doesn't really let you win in your hometown.
This is true.
So, even playing field, I guess. And look, all right, Freebird, they're not going to screw her over because of Daddy Flair. Like, Charlotte is...
No, not at all.
Yeah, she is the top female wrestler in that company. Of all the people who can afford to take a loss, it's Charlotte Flair.
You never win the belt in your hometown, says Jeffrey Cross. We'll see.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'm going with Charlotte Flair anyway because it's
Charlotte
Charlotte Flair.
Bailey.
She's a Flair, and that's what happens. Flairs win on pay-per-views. It's just what goes down. What's up, Trillima Dude? Good to have you, sir. Let's move on to the Raw Tag Team Championship, the match that I'm especially pissed off about. Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins taking on Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler.
Do you want me to hit it for you? Do you want me to hit it?
Go ahead.
It's a goddamn abortion and a disgrace.
Because it is. The one tag team that was just thrown together at the last minute on some bullshit goes over the OC, goes over Viking Warrior Raider experience, goes
War
over
Raiders. Call them correctly.
the Revival,
War Raiders.
goes over Heavy fucking Machinery. Everybody.
Well, everybody should go over Heavy Machinery.
Stop it. We're not going to start with that shit again. But anyway, we got to put up with this horse shit match. Honestly, I think Roode and Ziggler win it, which is another fucking travesty because it just...
Hold on.
Stop shitting on the tag team division for the love of God.
Calm down. Hey, this is where you need to center yourself. You need to find your chakra, okay? And you need to calm it because I have a theory for you, and I think you're going to like it. Okay?
I got Trillima Dude calling me old man. Don't call me a fucking old man just because I want good tag team wrestling. That doesn't make me old. That makes me a fan of tag team wrestling.
I want good tag team wrestling as well. I'm with you.
Then
I
shouldn't
love
want this bullshit matchup. Get the real tag teams in the fucking matches, WWE. What are we doing?
Here is why. Here is why the glorious show-offs win. This is my theory, okay? And this is what I'm hoping happens. I think they're going to be transitional champions, okay? I think they're going to drop the belts. I think Braun and Seth are going to drop the belts to glorious show-offs because who is the most popular tag team on Monday Night Raw and they haven't even had a fucking match yet?
The most popular tag team on Monday Night Raw and they haven't had a match yet?
Correct. Street Profits.
I would say they're the most popular tag team. You think they're the most popular tag team on Raw?
Yes. Easily. They're the ones doing all the backstage segments. Everybody laughs along with them. Like, nobody really sits there and turns their TV off when they come on there, okay? Everybody loves the fact that they can go ahead and they can promote, and they can talk. But you know what else? They're damn good in the ring, too.
Well, they are, but nobody knows that. Nobody on the main roster knows that.
So, what did they do with Paige when she debuted against AJ Lee? They put the title on Paige. Last I checked, Paige did a pretty damn good job before she got in.
They're not putting the title on the Street Profits.
I'm not saying they're
going to
do it.
Person.
I'm not saying they're going to do it on Monday Night Raw.
Fuss says, "Where's delete? Delete, delete."
I'm not saying they're going to do it on Monday Night Raw, but they will put the tag team titles on the Street Profits. That's my guess. That's the only thing I can.
That's his hot take. That's Kyle's hot take right there.
And again, look, I'm not saying this is the best booked situation. I'm with you. Like, it's fucking stupid that Ziggler and Roode are the ones in this. Like, It's a goddamn abortion and disgrace.
It's a
okay?
goddamn abortion and a
You
disgrace.
do remember how popular you were when you first came on this program?
Yes.
And everybody was like, I like this Kyle King guy. He's good. We should have him back more often. Well, I'm looking at the chats here. Mute this motherfucker. Where's
Hold
the
on.
lead?
I'm just trying to make this
Fickle. You're
seem
fickle,
right.
Speez of the Benchmark fans. That's what
really
you are.
People really are. You people don't know how good you have it. Okay? I am the weekend legend. I sit here and I run this shit. I sit at home all day and I just watch wrestling, okay? So you fucking listen.
Shut up!
Yeah!
You make a jack off of yourself.
I'm talking
that's
to this
me?
guy.
Oh, man, my bad.
On to the Universal Championship match. Okay, so I've got Rude and Ziggler. You got
Yeah, I got Rude and
as
Ziggler
well.
too. But, and again, I'm just trying to make the best of a shitty situation, and I would love to see the Street Profits come in and win and introduce themselves in the ring. I think that'd be a really cool way to introduce them.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's move on to the Universal Championship match. Seth Rollins taking on Braun Strowman. I know I'm supposed to be interested in this match. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
I love the fact that AJ Styles keeps bringing up going like, Braun got a match by looking at a title. Who does that? And it's like, thank you, AJ, for saying everything that we want. You are now the voice of the voiceless, AJ Styles. I love that.
Okay, Jeffrey Cross, you just need to slow your roll in the chat there. All right, enough revival slander for one evening, for crying out loud. Yes, I'm bitter about the fact that the top guys aren't where they belong, but let's just cool our jets here. All right, let's just everybody settle down. Damn hippie.
So who do you think's going to win, Rollins and Strowman?
Here's the only thing that interests me about this.
Okay.
The fact that the winner of this match is going to fight The Fiend in
Yes.
Hell in a Cell, based on what Bray Wyatt has said in the Firefly Funhouse. I'm very much looking forward to see how that match plays out.
I think whoever wins gets crowned by the Fiend. And I think it's Rollins. I think Rollins is going to win and Fiend's going to show up. Like Braun's going to, and look, I also think Braun's going to lose cleanly. I think I brought this up again earlier on the Heel Turn podcast that I think it's time we kind of nerf Braun a little bit.
That's what MJ says. He's over Braun.
I'm not over Braun. I still like Braun Strowman. Again, there's always a need for big, imposing guys like that, but I don't need him wrecking shop and never losing. Like, that was one of the problems they had with him, is they built him up so strong.
And then
that
they
was
didn't put the belt on him.
And every time, yeah, and they didn't put the belt on him, and every time he lost, it was always due to some fucking
Shenanigans?
yeah. And I'm tired of people winning with
Shenanigans?
Yeah.
I'm tired of it. So I think Seth wins this one. I think he wins clean. And then I think we get the Fiend at the end of the night to crown him. And then everybody's happy and paying attention to Monday Night Raw instead of Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I think Seth Rollins wins it as well. And, man, I'd be looking forward to the Fiend with a title shot. I still say it's a little bit too early for that, but, that's okay. If you're going to keep the title on Seth and...
So here's my thing with the Fiend. And I was telling BMAC this. This is why I'm okay with the Fiend getting a title shot and then winning it at Hell in a Cell. The Fiend, as we all know, is the hottest thing, WWE. Fuck that. The hottest thing in pro wrestling right now. No one has a bad thing to really say about the Fiend. You can nitpick if you want, but you really have nothing bad to say because they're using him the right way. He's got a great look. He just beats the shit out of people. He's got cool finishers. Awesome. He's also not going to lose anytime soon. What is the one thing we keep saying about titles? When they play hot potato with them, they lose their luster. What did they try to do with Brock Lesnar? They tried to make him an attraction.
Right.
They tried to bring him in. Well, guess what? The Fiend is an attraction.
Absolutely.
The Fiend is dominant and not going to lose, so he's not going to drop the belt.
At least you
anytime
hope not.
soon.
At least
I don't
you
think he
hope not.
will. I think they're actually getting it right this time, especially with Paul Heyman kind of calling the shots.
Yeah.
So I think it would make sense to give him not only a title shot this quick, and plus, at the end of the day, you have to remember, it's Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt was a WWE champion.
Exactly. It's not like we're building up somebody from scratch that we've never heard of. So.
Exactly. So, like, he's just a new rebooted version, but he's a much bigger ass kicker now. So I think it makes perfect sense to put the belt on him.
Totally agree. Singles match for the WWE Championship. Kofi Kingston taking on Randy Orton. I've loved this feud.
Yeah.
I think this feud is great. I was a little disappointed at the way the previous pay-per-view ended with their title match, but
That was weird. It was a good match up until that ending, and it was just like I went back and watched it 3 times, and I went, how?
yeah, I don't know
did
what
he
the hell
get-
they were doing with that. But nonetheless, I think this is a great matchup. I love the fact that they're playing off the history between these two, with Randy Orton being pissed off at Kofi Kingston for screwing things up all those years back. And it's great. It's fantastic the way that WWE is able to go back on their own history and call back to those things in such a way that makes current matches seem fresh, even though we've seen it before.
Yep.
But it's been so long and things have changed so much that it feels like a fresh matchup. I think this is going to be great. I see people, Alice is picking Randy Orton. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Randy Orton won. I just have a tough time picking him. I don't know that it's time for Kofi to lose the belt just yet.
Okay.
But again, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Randy Orton. I'm picking Kofi in this one, but it's a tough choice. It's a really tough choice.
Alice, here's what I have to give you.
Round of applause. There you go.
Because I agree. I think Randy Orton's going to win this one. All the reasons you just said is why I'm into this match as well. Pardon me. Had a little hiccup. But I agree with you. The feud has been fantastic. I love that they're bringing that up. But yeah, I think Randy Orton's going to win because I don't think you give a rematch if you're not going to do something like that. And plus, again, it's now, okay, you beat me the first time, okay? Now I beat you, and then now you have a legit reason to have that third match. And I don't think you need to have it right away. I think you can let Kofi kind of take some time off. And look, who has been booked stronger than Kofi besides The Fiend?
Oh, nobody. Kofi's been booked as good as any champion.
Correct.
In WWE for the last, I don't know how long.
I think he's lost maybe 1-2 matches. I know he lost to Joe at one point, but again, it wasn't for the title, obviously. But he's been booked strong. He's had a great run. Now it's time for him to kind of go back on the chase.
Yeah, totally agree.
So I'm going to go with Randy.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I still think Kofi hangs on to it, but it's going to be a good matchup for sure. All right, we got the Cruiserweight Championship. Drew Gulak taking on Humberto Carrillo and Lince Dorado of the fucking Lucha House Party, who, don't even get me started on those guys. Being a fan of the Revival, I had to look at their horse shit, them beating the Revival, which was completely ridiculous. Watched your football show on Twitter. Thumbs up, says Shugsy. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. MJ says Kofi holds on to the belt until October, and Brock gets drafted to SmackDown Live and beats him on an early Fox show. We shall see about that. As far as the Cruiserweight Championship go, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't watch 205 Live. Honestly, I just don't have enough hours in the day with all the other stuff that I'm doing to keep up with it. So I'm picking Drew Gulak just because I'm sticking with the champ here, but I honestly have no reason behind it whatsoever.
Here's my breakdown. Drew Gulak.
Okay, then.
I'm
moving on.
Same way. Like, I watch 205 Live when I get a chance, and it's not all the time. I kind of pay attention to certain wrestlers. Like, I pay attention to Drew Gulak. I pay attention to Oni Lorcan because he's fucking hilarious on Twitter. It makes me want to watch. And I pay attention to Kanellis. If they're really not on, I don't really care.
Fair enough. All right, before we get to the second half of the card for Clash of Champions, let's make sure we work this in because we do it every Wednesday night. The top 5 wrestlers of the week, according to our co-host here, Mr. Kyle King. It is time for this week's Benchmark Power Rankings. Here we go.
Yes!
It is the Benchmark Power Rankings for the wrong week. It's the week of September 8th, 2019. I forgot to change that one.
Bullshit?
Just stop your shit. Top 5 wrestlers of the week according to the Weekend Warrior, the Weekend Legend, Kyle King.
Thank you. Weekend Warrior is a whole different thing.
It's not just the top 5 because, of course, Kyle has to put more work on me as if I don't have enough shit to do around here.
Oh,
so
and I put a lot of work on you
always
today.
do. We're going to start with number 100 on this week's Benchmark Power Rankings. Number 100 is
the OC. And this hurts me to put them in at number 100 because those of you who watch this program, those of you who listen to the Heel Turn podcast, you know that I am very pro OC. They're probably one of my favorite groups in wrestling. But the reason why they get to number 100 is because they were pretty much fucking cannon fodder on Monday Night Raw. They got their ass kicked all night long. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And for those of you who pay attention to dark matches and everything like that, of course, AJ Styles got the toast from Stone Cold and then got dropped with a stunner because DTA. And so, yeah, OC, as much as this pains me, fellas, you know, I love to throw it up. You're number 100.
the OC checking in at 100
and
on this week's benchmark power ranking. No, don't try to backtrack. Don't try to justify.
No, what I'm saying is I'm not mad that they were cannon fodder last night. Like, I know a lot of times we as wrestling fans, if the people that we support don't get booked, you know, like
super strong
every single week, oh, they're ruining them. No, like, look, the corporation had to eat some losses some nights. The Nation of Domination had to eat some losses some nights. So did DX, so did NWO. It's just how it goes.
And if you're going to go out underneath somebody, who better to go out underneath than Stone Cold Steve Austin?
So again, I'm sad they're on this list, but it was necessary. You can't get your ass kicked 4 times in one night and then make it in the top 5. No, you are number 100, OC.
The OC checks in at number 100 on this week's benchmark power rankings. Fast forwarding, thank goodness, all the way to number 5.
Randy Orton. And now look, again, I just sat there and said the OC got their ass kicked that night, and it's not a good look. Here's why Randy Orton is going to be number 5. I know he went through a table last night in Madison Square Garden. However, let's go back to what we were talking about with Kofi and Randy. We've been very interested in the storyline. While Kofi Kingston has had a very good run, he's been a very enjoyable champion, which is something we haven't had in a little while. Kofi's storyline was getting a little stale. And Randy Orton came in and they reinvigorated it with the storyline, with the backstory. He has done everything he can to help elevate this feud. And so is Kofi, but again, you're also only as good as the person that you're working with. So I think Orton's been doing a great job. Last night was great when all of a sudden you started hearing him go, stupid, and baited him to come out there. I thought it was great. So I'm putting Randy Orton at number 5 because he has reinvigorated Kofi's run as a champion.
Yeah, he's a pro's pro.
Yes.
And it's hard to say that Randy Orton is underrated, but I think at this point in his career,
I like that.
People have started to sleep on Randy Orton.
I like that take. I think you're absolutely
right. And you can't do it because the guy is an absolute pro.
I remember it was like it was a few weeks back. He was in some kind of like gauntlet match, or I don't know, it was something like that. And I remember somebody on Twitter going like, "Oh, why would you put Randy Orton there?" And Randy Orton in that match RKO'd everybody. Yeah. And all I said was, sometimes you just have to remind people who the fuck you are. That's what Randy Orton does. This is one of those guys who can go away for 6 months, but then come right back in, and all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, he's taking on Randy Orton? Okay.
Exactly. All right, Randy Orton checks in at number 5. On to number 4.
Cedric Alexander, man, this guy has been on fire again. He ended up in the main event last night.
Yep.
He's got a U.S. Championship match against AJ Styles this upcoming Sunday. And you know what? I think he's going to win it too. But I think it's great. I think he's getting featured, and I think he's going to be a bright star for the WWE if they continue to book him the correct way.
And I'll tell you, for a guy that got drafted to Monday Night Raw, ended up on Monday Night Raw. We didn't see very much of it. When we did see him, he was losing matches, and it seemed like he was going to be one of those guys that was just lost in the shuffle. But again, let's give credit where credit's due. There are guys getting pushed now that 6 months ago we would have said there's no fucking way those guys are getting pushed.
And you know what? And I love it. Like I keep having to remind people, it's like, look, you say you want change. I see everybody on Twitter bitching and moaning and bitching and bitching and bitching about whoever is getting pushed and why not this guy. Well, guess what? Change is here. You either got to start supporting the change, or guess what? Vince McMahon will not hesitate to come back in and take those keys back and drive that fucking ship himself.
That's exactly right. All right, Cedric Alexander checks in at number 4 this week on the Benchmark Power Rankings. On to number 3.
The War Raiders. I'm not calling them whatever this is. That's not going to happen.
The Viking Raider experience.
No, the War Raiders.
The War Viking Raider experience.
The War Raiders are number 3 because, again, they got a pop last night, and they were in the main event, and you know what? They did a damn good job,
They're so good.
They really are.
They're so good.
And again, you and I were talking about this before the show, how I was talking about Heavy Machinery, how I mentioned that even though I'm not a big Heavy Machinery fan because I think Otis is a fucking nerd.
Otis is so great.
Thank you, Alistair.
Thank you, Alistair. Appreciate that.
Is this about to talk about Subway?
It's going to talk about Subway.
All right, hold on.
Subway 1 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 bonus 1.
There you go. 1 bonus 1.
Thank you, Alistair. That's very nice.
Thank you, Alistair. Very nice.
I'm getting Jimmy Jones in the way.
Of course you are.
But no, look, again, they got a great response last night. There was actually people in the crowd chanting war. war, which you haven't heard really since NXT, and I would argue their debut. But again, they got a great pop. They got into the main event last night. They looked great. They get the number 3 ranking.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain too much about the fact that they've been facing jobbers for as long as they have. I don't think they needed to be, I don't think they needed to have their hands held for as long as they did. But nonetheless, it seems to have worked because now they're in a position where they've been destroying everybody. You can throw them in against just about anybody right now, and they've kicked the shit out of so many people that people are going to go, all right.
And you know what? To the point before Alistair gifted us the subways, I was going to say, I like that Heavy Machinery now is kind of getting the jobbers because I think I actually got to see more of what they're about last night than I have in any of the matches. And look, the War Raiders and Heavy Machinery both suffered from the same thing. They got called up way too soon just because they did, for some reason. I don't know why. The NXT crowd didn't grasp to them before they got called up, so I didn't expect the WWE universe to. And not only that, they also kind of got lost in the shuffle. You made the comment about there were some injuries and the WWE already didn't like tag team wrestling, so they just kind of got pushed off. But look, they're making a push.
They're
for
coming
now.
back around for sure. All right, on to number two this week.
Baron Corbin. I know. Hold on. I can hear all your tears.
No, Baron Corbin, that's a beautiful thing. It's exactly where he belongs.
Exactly. And here's why he's number 2. Because again, he's in the King of the Ring
and he gets
finals. He does. He's just, God, he's so good. You people who sit there and come after him on Twitter, you're stupid, first of all. Because again, he feeds off of your hate. He feeds off of your rage and your jealousy.
Put some respect on it.
The man knows how to get heat. He's also really good in the ring. Again, we laid this out earlier as well. I got to put, and again, he's in the finals, so I got to put him at number 2.
No, he's great. I love the excuses. Again, the term "go away heat" was created by marks who don't want to admit that they dislike a guy because they're supposed to dislike the guy. So they say, "Oh, he has changed the channel." Get the fuck out of here! You know exactly what it is. He's doing his job and he's making you hate him, and you're pissed off about it.
Yeah, Baron Corbin is the guy that you love to see lose, and when he doesn't lose, it just it eats at you, and that's when guys like us, we thrive off of that.
Exactly. All right.
Number 1. I never thought
Can
I would
only
see
be
the
one
day.
number 1. The only number 1 in this week's Benchmark Power Rankings.
Chad Gable, ladies and gentlemen.
Unbelievable.
Look.
Unbelievable that I can't disagree with you that Chad Gable belongs at number 1 in the Benchmark Power Rankings.
He has been, you can say what you want. Ali was great. Buddy Murphy has been a standout as well, although I have missed him the last few weeks.
Love Buddy Murphy. He's great.
He's so good. But Chad Gable, without a doubt, Ali, Buddy Murphy, and Chad Gable have been the breakout stars of this tournament. Again, if you people want change, you gotta support change. That's why. So that's another reason I had to put him on here. Not only is he in the finals, I think he's gonna win the whole thing, which I think would be cool. The King of the Ring, I actually have no problem with whoever wins.
Yeah, either way, it'll be fine.
Yeah, either one will be good.
Because Corbin will be such a dick King of the Ring, and it'll be perfect. Or Chad Gable will win it, and everybody will go apeshit because they didn't want Corbin to win it, which is the way you're supposed to feel about a heel. Or they just want to see Chad Gable because he's an underdog, and everybody loves the underdog.
Could you imagine a U.S. championship match between Chad Gable and either AJ Styles or Cedric Alexander?
Fantastic.
Or all 3 of those guys in the ring? Come on. You're telling me you're not going to watch that match? If you say you're not going to watch that match, you're fucking wrong.
You're a lying liar.
And we don't like you. We don't like your face.
All right. Let's recap this week's Benchmark Power Rankings for the week of September 8th, 2019. Starting off with number 100.
Cannon Fodder, the OC. Number 5, Randall Keith Orton. Number 4, Cedric Alexander, or, Gary the Goat.
Okay, that works too.
The War Raiders in at number 3. At
Viking
number
Raiders.
2, Baron Corbin. And number 1, the man that I think is going to be Mr. King of the Ring, Chad Gable.
There you have it, folks. The Benchmark Power Rankings brought to you by Cow King for the week of September 8th, 2019. Otis looks like Chris Farley fucked the Wendy's mascot and had a bastard child. That's so horrible.
Wow, that's coming in strong.
I was grossed out by Otis manhandling that banana, says Brian. If King Gable happens, King Harley Race is coming back from the dead to squash him.
What?
And will the King of the Ring winners celebrate with a little bit of the bubbly?
No, because that's copyright by AEW.
Oh, have they copyrighted it already?
Oh, I'm sure they have.
They probably have.
Then again, I mean, you know what? Vince would.
No, he totally would.
Vince
Totally would.
trademark the name Walter. How do you trademark somebody's like? I have a friend named Walter, and it's like, dude, you can't use that anymore because it's now property of the WWE.
Shugsy thinks we're agreeing too much. Well, we're about to start disagreeing because we're getting back to the card right now, and my guys, the Revival, have a SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship match against the New Day, and I'm picking the fucking Revival because they got totally screwed in the Raw Championship, in the Raw Tag Team turmoil, and we had this horseshit matchup of fucking Robert Roode. I can't even say his name because I still want to call him Bobby Roode because that's how stupid that fucking gimmick is. And you throw him in with Dolph Ziggler, Mr. I don't know who the fuck I'm tag teaming with. I'm showing up in random fucking matches everywhere. It doesn't make any sense. No rhyme or reason. So let's give those guys a tag team title match. Of course, that makes total fucking sense. No way. New Day's going down. Revival take their rightful place atop the SmackDown tag team division because they were Raw tag champs. It's time for the top guys to be the SmackDown Live tag champs. NXT, Raw, SmackDown Live tag team champions. The Revival. Fucking book it. On to you, sir.
Say yeah.
You know you love it. All of you. That's the content you came here for. Me spelling it out why this type of shit needs to be rectified immediately. And it will be on Sunday when the Revival take the tag team titles off of the New Day. Thank you very much. Alice agrees with me. The case is fucking closed. You could try to tell me that the New Day is going to win, but you're going to fail in trying to convince me, so just go right ahead. You just get up and leave, says Jeffrey Cross. It's exactly right.
Speez, you ignorant slut.
Stop it.
I actually agree with you on this. I know they don't want us
shit,
to.
There you go.
I know. Look, but here's why I agree. Who did I say is going to win the WWE Championship?
You said Randall K. Orton.
And who is Randall K. Orton somewhat in a partnership with?
That would be the fucking top guys.
So I'm going to say FTRKO has a great night. I also think that WWE is giving what I've been wanting, which is factions. OC on Monday night. You got New Day, who goes wherever they want, but right now on SmackDown, you got the Revival with Randy Orton. That's another faction. You got Undisputed Era down in NXT. I think it just makes sense. Go ahead. You know what? Just put the gold on every faction that happens. That's okay with me.
Kyle's a faction guy. The Revival is
really
greatness. MJ, thank you very much for recognizing. On to the Intercontinental Tag Team
and
match.
Plus, well, hold on. Before we go,
Intercontinental title match, not a tag team match.
I will say this as well. I think it also now makes sense for the New Day to chase. They've had a really great run. I think they need to get back into the chase, kind of rebuild that, kind of restart a little bit. So I'm going to go with Revival.
Fair enough. Shinsuke Nakamura will defend the Intercontinental title against The
Nakamura-san.
Miz. I got Nakamura winning this thing. I like the Nakamura pairing with Sami Zayn. I think it's great. I think Sami Zayn is so brilliantly obnoxious.
So
it's absolutely perfect for him to be Nakamura's mouthpiece. And I think they give that partnership a little bit more of a run with the IC title. I enjoy The Miz, but I don't enjoy him as a face. That doesn't have anything to do. WWE didn't give a shit what I enjoy when it comes to booking the matches. I'm just saying, I think the Nakamura Sami Zayn partnership has much more promise than putting the Intercontinental title back on The Miz. So I'm going with Nakamura.
I think The Miz would win because, again, he's got the new baby. They love promoting Miz and Mrs. Just had its season finale.
And would this be the record for him? This would be his 9th Intercontinental?
I think Jericho had it for 9.
Yes, he did.
So I think he would tie the record, not break it. But, by the way, really quick side note, Sami Zayn yesterday with The Undertaker. Loved the spot, loved the segment, because, again...
It made no fucking sense.
Yeah, but what do you really want?
You get to see Undertaker come in and do a chokeslam, so it's cool.
Yeah, and again, it was against somebody who's annoying the fans.
Yeah.
However, if you're Sami Zayn and The Undertaker hands you his mic and he walks out, wouldn't you wait for that guy to get up the ramp? Because it takes him legit 10 minutes to get back down the ramp. He ain't running back after you. You can literally wait for him to get up the ramp, do his little bullshit, fist in the air.
This is not bullshit. That's fantastic. I don't know anybody who doesn't go when the fucking Undertaker does. And if you don't,
is he Diesel?
then kiss my ass because you should be doing that.
Is he Diesel?
Because that's what real fans do.
Biker Taker did it, and that was badass. By the way, I would like to see one more run with Biker Taker, just so I could say goodbye to that version of The Undertaker properly. But that's neither here nor there. I was just saying, I think Sammy should have waited, because again, there's no way The Undertaker is running back. Like, he literally would have looked backstage and been like, all right, get the bike.
Exactly.
Get the
Okay,
bike
who's winning the Intercontinental title match?
Shinsuke.
Jeffrey Cross says Miz has been losing everything, so Miz is going to win. Which
That makes WWE logic, but it doesn't make Paul Heyman logic.
Becky Lynch defends the Raw tag team. Why do I keep saying everything tag team? See, I'm in revival mode, thinking about the top guys, so I'm focused in on tag teams nonstop. Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's Championship against Sasha Banks. I think it's time for Becky to lose the belt. And it's not just because I don't like the man gimmick. I just think her as champ has gotten a little bit stale, and I think this is a fantastic way for Sasha to actually hold the belt as a heel for the first time, and who knows, maybe even have a successful title defense, considering that she's a 4-time women's champion and has 0 successful title defenses.
And it would be really cool to see Bayley and Sasha hold it as like just the kind of the top heels on both brands. They definitely go back and forth on each one. So like Sasha shows up on Raw, Bayley shows up, Sasha shows up on SmackDown, Bayley shows up on Raw. So sure, like I would love to see those two as the champions of their respective divisions. So my WWE logic says Becky Lynch wins. My personal, what I hope happens is Sasha wins.
Fair enough. On to the no DQ match between Roman Reigns and Eric Rowan. I know they've tried really hard with the storyline with this one in terms of the attempts on Roman's life and so on and so forth, and the mystery of who done it and so on. It just didn't work for me, and I'm just not all that excited about Rowan. I know that they've done a lot to try to push him and to try to get him over, but it just hasn't resonated with me per se. I don't think there's any way Roman Reigns loses this thing, although he has lost on a few pay-per-views here recently. But, you know, maybe the no DQ stipulation makes this a little bit more interesting. But for me, I don't know. This one doesn't do a lot for me. I'm going with Roman Reigns just because I think it's Roman Reigns and, you know, him getting his revenge for all the shenanigans, as you like to say. I never had this ready for when Silky hits
Shenanigans?
Shenanigans?
I think that Roman Reigns gets the victory.
So I like how in professional wrestling that if you attempt to murder somebody, they won't turn you into the authorities. They'll just put you in a no disqualification match. That's why I would like to announce that I have signed with Impact Wrestling, and I am going to try and murder Big Mike. So
okay then,
or Rhino.
Be on the lookout, Big Mike.
Yeah, I'm coming for you. I've signed. So again, there's nothing you can legally do about it except for
Michael
fight me in a
Elgin
match.
and Rhino would fucking destroy you, and you're a big guy compared to me. But those guys, holy shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere near those guys in a wrestling ring.
Not only would I not want to be around them, I would also get gassed faster than Shane McMahon tying his shoes. So I wouldn't really stand a chance, but I would try to get to murder somebody.
This is true.
That would be kind of fun. But no, like, here's my thing. I think Rowan wins this one.
Holy shit.
Here's why. And again, I laid this out on the Heel Turn podcast. Roman, as you mentioned, has lost on pay-per-views. He's actually come back and he's been losing and putting people over. So, and again, like I think he's really been chipping away at that like LOL Roman wins. I think they're also trying to establish Eric Rowan. I will say this about Rowan, less talking, more beating people up.
Totally agree.
I don't think he's not, look, the promo he cut last week was god awful. The promo he cut this week was better.
A little bit better.
A little better. I'm not saying you completely take him off the mic because you definitely have to have that charisma. You're not Brock Lesnar where you're going to get a mouthpiece. But I think if he keeps it short and simple, which he kind of did last night, it was great. And then, look, you can't sit there and say that them beating the crap out of each other wasn't fun.
No,
I enjoyed it.
It'll be, like I said, the no DQ stipulation is what makes this marginally interesting, but we'll see. And again, Rowan would be another guy that you don't expect to be pushed that might be getting himself a push here. So we'll wait and see what happens.
They can use more legitimate heels.
Totally agree with you there.
And look, how do you become a legitimate heel? By taking out the man who brings the big fight feel, Roman Reigns.
There you go. Women's Tag Team Championship match between Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross taking on Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Who do you like in this one?
I've really been enjoying Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville as a tag team. I think they've been a lot of fun. Having said that, I think Alexa and Nikki should retain the titles. these tag titles just showed up in, what is it, February? February is when it was crowned?
Yeah, a little bit before WrestleMania.
So since February, you had it on Sasha and Bayley, who everybody enjoyed. Then you took it off of them and put it on the Iconics. And they didn't really do anything with them. It pissed everybody off, and it really hurt the titles.
Yes.
And now you've got it on Alexa and Nikki, who've actually been doing a good job with it. They've been defending it. They've been having good matches. They're a fun team, to be honest. And I don't think you make the title prestigious by playing hot potato with it.
No, I don't think so either.
I'm going with Alexa and Nikki.
And look, I don't think 3 champs over the course of, 6-7 months, that's not too much hot potatoing. But yeah, I agree with you. I think
4 teams would have it then. Yeah, it's a little
that's
bit.
True. I think there's more to be done in building the inevitable Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross breakup. And I don't think that needs to happen this soon.
For sure.
So hopefully they get the win. And that's who I'm pulling for anyway. And I think they win it. I agree with you. I think they win it there. What's up, Noob? Good to see you, sir.
Noob!
Last match on the card, at least as far as our list here is concerned. AJ Styles defending the U.S. title against Cedric Alexander. You said earlier you think Alexander's going to win this thing.
I do. I think he's on the up and up. He's up and coming, and the back seems to be enjoying him. Paul Heyman's a huge supporter of his, who's now running Monday Night Raw. I think you would then put the OC kind of in this whole hey, we were supposed to be running this, and we really haven't been doing so. So you can kind of let them get their edge back, kind of beat some people up, establish some new guys a little bit. And I'd be really curious to see how Cedric handles that. I would also like to see Cedric have a long, lengthy run with it.
I saw an interesting theory that AJ Styles would lose in order to open the door for Finn Balor to come back and join up with the club.
That would be great.
And basically say, you guys have gone in the shitter. You lost the tag titles. Now you've lost the U.S. title. I'm here to get this shit back together again, and we get an all-new Finn Balor and the club. I think that's an amazing idea. I don't know that it happens. Yeah. I just thought that was a really clever idea.
I think it would be clever as well, because you would then allow Gallows and Anderson to focus on the tag division. You'd then let Finn probably go ahead and work the secondary title for a while, the U.S. Championship. Let him kind of get a run. Put AJ back in the Universal title picture, and that way, and again, you can then also sow the seeds of dissent of Finn wanting to take AJ's place, becoming the rightful leader of the OC yet again. I think there's a lot more with AJ. I think there's better storylines with AJ losing.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some promise with it, and I don't think they put Finn Balor as a heel. That was my only disagreement with that. As much fun as I think that would be. I would
love to see him as a heel. He's a good heel.
I'd like to see him as a heel too, but I still think he's too popular with the WWE crowd, and I think, maybe behind the scenes they see a little bit too much money in him as a face, but we'll wait and see. That's a little bit further down the line. I'd love to say Cedric wins this thing. I still think it's a little too soon for him. I think AJ hangs on to this one. It's going to be a very entertaining match. Because again, AJ Styles is one of those guys that's been doing this for so long.
You know what I would love to see?
He's just a pro, man. He's going to make it look good no matter what.
You know what I would love to see WWE do, especially since they got the draft coming up and we're kind of going to reset everything and kind of go, legitimately have a brand split this time from what we're being told. I would love to see WWE kind of take a page out of New Japan's book and have divisions. Heavyweight division, junior heavyweight division, which would be your U.S. Intercontinental Championship, your tag division. I would love to see them legitimately have those and let people kind of compete in there. I think you have too much bouncing around now. You can't really keep track of what's going on. It's like, wait, this guy was just going for the U.S. title. Now all of a sudden he's in a WWE Championship match, or hey, he was just a tag champ, and what the fuck is Robert Roode doing with I think if they sit there and they actually have divisions and give you something, separate people a little bit, I think that'll help with their massive roster that they have, that they're having a hard time keeping control of. So I'd love to see something like that happen. I know that was a random quick take.
No, it would be interesting. Again, it's just one of those things where I get the sense that Vince doesn't like to be put in a position where folks are able to say, oh, well, he took that idea from somebody else. To me, he likes to be the guy that comes up with the ideas. And even if he doesn't, he likes to take credit for it.
Well, so thank God he's never put anybody's mother on a forklift.
This is true.
I'm really glad he's never stooped that low. Alice says, Speez, what are your thoughts about the WWE draft coming up in October?
I mean, look, there's so much time to talk about that for now. I think the draft is fun. I hope they do an actual draft.
Yeah.
I mean, in the past where sometimes they've just started announcing guys randomly. I like it where it's set up like a draft where somebody actually comes and makes the pick and we see the guy come out and so on and so forth. I think that makes it more interesting.
You know what else? Again, one of the main topics we had on the Heel Turn podcast, which you can find on iTunes, the radio.com app, and sportsradio610.com.
Shameless plug.
Thank you very much. Checks in the mail. But that was one of the things we talked about. B-Mac and I had 2 things each that we wanted to see happen with the draft. And one of the things that I said was I wanted them to treat this like they would the NFL draft. I want to see, like either take your pick, either Michael Cole or Tom Phillips up there with Corey Graves and like either Renee Young or maybe even Byron Saxon. Nigel McGuinness would be really good, and have them kind of be like Trey Wingo, Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, kind of break down draft picks and stuff like that. Treat it like a legit draft. Have trades, like come in and say, hey, Raw has traded their 4th and 5th pick for this person who just got drafted, or I would love to see something like that happen, especially since you're actually going to keep it again as 3 legitimate brands with NXT in there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, folks. Well, there you have it. Our picks for this weekend's Clash of Champions coming up Sunday night on the WWE Network. Thank you guys very much for being with us. Noob says, what are your thoughts on Asuka? Oh, the YouTube gaming channel. I think that's great. I know Baron Corbin's got one. Obviously Xavier Woods has had a lot of success
AJ.
with up, down, down. I mean, all those guys. I think that's great.
Oh, hey, really quick, if you'll allow me to go ahead and
one more shameless plug before we get out of here, because we haven't got quite enough of those this show. So go on ahead, sir, please.
I know I love to plug my own shit, but I have a Twitch channel coming as well, The Kyle King Show. And if you can go and find it, twitch.tv/The Kyle King Show. I'm going to be doing a soft rollout this Sunday. I haven't really set a time. I will be making an announcement of when it'll be going live on a weekly basis. But I want you guys to come and join me on Sunday night immediately after Clash of Champions. I'm going to be doing a recap show where we can all kind of give our thoughts. We can break things down. We can talk. I'll go about 30 minutes to an hour. So please go ahead and give me a follow over there. Again, twitch.tv/The Kyle King Show, KYLE. And Sunday night, we'll talk all things Clash of Champions.
Thanks to all you guys for swinging by this evening. We appreciate that. Thanks to everybody who dropped those bits. Alistair Fiend, Get the Tables, Mac Diesel, and to Brian for another subscription. That would make 5 months in a row for you, sir. Thank you very much. We always appreciate that. And we are back, or I am back, on Monday night, immediately following Monday Night Raw with the Benchmark, Silky Baines. So you got to love that. The Benchmark will
he's actually going to be there on Monday?
Well, that's the, knock on wood if you think he'll be here, as John Gruden would say.
Knock on wood if you're with me, man.
Exactly. So until then, we hope you enjoy your weekend's worth of wrestling. Be sure to find The Kyle King Show on Twitter. And, on
Twitch.
You
can find me on Twitter.
At Kyle King on Air.
Thank you.
On Twitter. Shout out to you, Hard Knocks Life. Sorry you're getting in on the tail end here.
And go follow my podcast at The Heel Turn Pod. Thank you. I love you guys.
More plugs than anything. For the weekend legend, Kyle King, Chris Speezak, thank you so much for being with us. We will see you Monday night immediately following Monday Night Raw here on the Speez and the Benchmark Show. Good night, everybody. Get the fuck out of here.